Hello gorgeous, welcome back to Life in Style. Today's video is a very exciting one. I am going to be setting up one of my FoxyFix traveler's notebooks with a Game of Thrones theme. I am excited to have put this together. It took a while longer than I thought because I wanted to get the elements just right. And as I go through it, I will talk about what inspired me to use certain papers and certain pieces and what I correlate some of the decoration with for or to the actual show or characters of that sort of thing. And there is way more than this. This is just what I put into the screen just to kind of have an opening shot. But I'm excited. So let's go ahead and get started. So what I want to do first is just quickly go through the Traveler's Notebook. I've done this before, and in my very first video, which was, I think, fall of last year, I went through in depth about this Traveler's Notebook. I'm going to run through it pretty quickly. I think most of us have seen FoxyFix notebook, so I'm not going to spend too much time on it. The one I do have here is a sugar mochi. Sugar is the type of leather, and then mochi is the color, which is this beautiful kind of muted blush pink. It's not very loud, as you could see. This is a B6 size, which is usually about 5x7 inserts and a number 5 on the FoxyFix website. So like I said, the color is mochi. I have, I believe, a light pink elastic and light pink stitching as well. I did not get anything on the side, but I did get my initial on the front in rose gold. This is a wide, which means, and I just have a piece of paper in here and take out. I have a wide, which means that it is 6 strings, although I do have a jump band, so I could in essence make this an 8-string TN. If I had 8 inserts to use, it would be quite chunky, which is fine with me. I do actually like them quite chunky. But as you can see, I have the secretarial pockets both on the left and the right. I have a card pocket just on the left, and all of them on the inside do come unfinished. So I usually stick papers and things to kind of decorate the left and right side, which is really, really pretty. Love the fact, again, that it has 6 strings, and I tend to go for the wide stuff because even if I only use 4 or 5, I still have the option to use 6, 7, or 8 inserts if I wanted to. So the back is the same. It has just the FoxyFix logo, and that pretty much is the Traveler's Notebook that I will be using. I haven't used this in quite a while, so I wanted to bring it out. Next, I want to quickly talk about the inserts that I'm going to be using in this Traveler's Notebook. I do actually have one more insert that I have to print out. I haven't done it yet, or find. It was a bill one, and I thought I had it around, but maybe I didn't. Usually, I always have a monthly up front just as an overview. I don't necessarily plan in it per se as far as writing things down, but I do, sometimes do that, but not overall. Just as I know a lot of people use it kind of as a snapshot of their month, which is absolutely perfect. I think, if you are a person that looks at your monthlies, obviously that would be the place to do it. These are, let me make sure I've got these right ones. So this insert is from the 1407 planner. So let me just show you what a blank month looks like. So I got it with the option of just the days, nothing on the side, and basically just blank except for those days. And you can also have a blank without days if memory serves. The monthly kits that I use are always, always, always from my newest addiction. She does absolutely amazing work. If you see that foil there, just absolutely gorgeous. And we are up to, see, I've got, this is every month, like I don't use any other one in this planner. So we are up to April, which is this gorgeous kind of frosty blue and purple and different ranges of purple. And just the silver foil there is just absolutely perfect. So monthly is usually the first insert I always use. And then the second insert I always use is a weekly. The inserts for that come from JeseniaPrintables, and she is on Etsy. I will absolutely link everything I can down below if it is still available. A lot of these papers I got from Michaels, but I'll talk about that. And a lot of these papers are theme specific, so like Halloween stuff. So during Halloween, you can always find those big, paper packs at both Michaels and Joann's. So this one is a March-April one, and I actually just printed out a new one. So this is what I have planned. and then just some stuff there to move forward. So that is the weekly one. And then the finance, oh, here it is right here. I thought I had lost it. Basically what it is actually a check register, which I think is so brilliant because I don't necessarily write checks. I don't even know the last time I wrote a check. So what I do though is I do keep a register for my debit card purchases and you know, direct deposit and stuff. And I like the fact that it's in my planner with me. So there's the finances. And then this notes one actually was from the winter, but it is very, very appropriate for this setup as it has the snowflakes and their usual, the Stark saying is winter is coming. At this point, winter is here. So that's where that's at. So we have the notes. Again, but I thought I do use it daily. Sometimes I may stick it in here just to make it a little chunkier because I just need to print it out. So we'll see. But for now, we're going to put 4 inserts in there. So those are the inserts that I'm going to be using in today's video. The dashboards that I'm going to be using come from FoxyFix. I usually buy them from FoxyFix just because I'm already used to using these. And if they ever have a sale on, you know, dashboards and stuff, I always tend to buy them. And even if they're not on sale, just to have some. I think I only had like 2 for the B6 when I started, and I decided that I definitely needed the 6 in case I needed to use them for this specific TN. A dashboard, in case you don't know what it is basically just a clear plastic booklet. As you can see, it's empty, but it's got pockets both on the left and on the right. And basically you just decorate them. This can get a little, not difficult per se, but you know, let's say I'm using 6. So I have to come up with, and you don't have to necessarily come up with anything, but I think it just adds a nice look to the TN. And, you know, just a really nice way to kind of, express your interests or whatever the theme is. So you have to decorate them, and usually you want to decorate the front and the back, and that's what I try to do. So you got to make sure that you have you know, basically 4 inserts for each one. So again, that can get a little cumbersome as opposed to just using, let's say, a piece of vellum and acetate, just putting that there and putting it in the notebook. So you have to, you do have to decorate these, which is fine. It's not a big deal. So I'm just going to grab one because we're going to start with our first dashboard. And some of this stuff I've done off camera as far as like sticking things on, just the stuff that I thought was going to be a little harder to do. I don't want to bore you or necessarily just speed through parts, so I decided to do it off camera. But the first one that I have here, and you guys have seen this before if you have watched my Halloween setup. I think I did a setup and not a flip through. So this is a gorgeous hand-painted print by Kurtis Rykovich. I have talked about him before. He does absolutely amazing work, and I will link him down below. I absolutely will recommend him far and wide if you're into this type of whimsical, fantastical type of painting. He has this stuff, cell phone covers, book bags, larger prints that are very expensive, but you know, like actual paintings where this is a print. This is his painting, but this is a print. And he will do actual paintings, and he does an absolutely amazing, amazing job. So of course I had to get the Mother of Dragons, and I do hope he comes out with more Game of Thrones characters, but this is the only character from GOT that he has, but it's absolutely beautiful. She's got her 3 dragons, Drogon, Viserion, and Rhaegal, which I think looks so beautiful. They're still babies in this picture. As you can see too, I already have a piece of paper in the back because, like I said, I used it in my October setup, but that was a number 8, which is quite a quite bigger planner than the B6, so I had to cut these down. For the front of the dashboard, I'm going to use the Mother of Dragons print, and then for the back of it, but you know, facing out, I'm going to be using this print also by Kurtis Rykovich. I forget what this is called, but again, I'll link the 4 that I'm going to be using today. I have 2 others, but again, because this was dragon inspired, as you can see there, I absolutely needed to use it here, which again, it's a very fantastical drawing with all the scales and the colors and the eyelashes being really long and that sort of thing. Also on a piece of paper, just to kind of make it a little stronger, because it is just a print. So that's that. And then in the back, I'm going to take the same purple paper that you see here, and this was paper that I just got from Michael's. As you can see on this side, it has a sheen, and this side it does not. So I always use the part that has or the side that has a sheen on it. And I'm going to be using two, let me find the other one, two Simply Gilded journaling cards, which I thought were absolutely appropriate for this setup. I just have to find the other one that got away from me. It's in here somewhere. Okay, so this one here reminded me of Dragon Glass. So this is kind of like a geode type of thing. It says Dare to be Dazzling, but I like the way it almost made gemstones. And for me, when I looked at it, it just automatically reminded me of Dragon Glass. So I'm going to be using that on one side. And then this one right here, of course, which is like, you know, this is the reason why almost all of this is going on, is who is the real king or queen of Westeros. So I thought that this was also very, very appropriate. So for these, I used to use the Tombow temporary, which I actually have right here. I had to use it earlier. Temporary or removable adhesive. It's not so removable or temporary, and I found that out the hard way, and that's actually why these are still stuck to the paper, which is fine because you know, I always want to make sure it's just a little stronger than just the print. But then I've seen some TN setups, and the biggest thing they do to make it really removable is just using washi. So what I'm doing is I'm just using washi that, I'm just going to zoom you in a bit. I'm just using washi that doesn't matter to me all that much. So I just have several rolls of these specifically for this purpose, to put down dashboards, to make dashboards and things of that nature. So the last season, the very last 6 episodes ever, starts in 4 days. And I'm beside myself. Like, you know, when you have a show that's just your world and it's just the best show ever in the world for you, and that's for me is Game of Thrones. I remember way back when seeing the commercials, or, you know, like the TV spots on HBO. First of all, I love Sean Bean, who came out as Ned Stark. And as soon as I saw, like, you know, Game of Thrones, and I'm like, boy, that looks good. Anything with Sean Bean in, like, medieval costume, like, I'm all for it. So as soon as I saw the commercial, I was like, we've got to watch this. I've been on this show since day one, and I think I got my sister turned on to it, her and her husband, so I think they started watching and they literally binged. Let me see, I just want to zoom you out so you can see enough but not be too far away. And they binged, you know, like the first season, and I don't know how quick of a time. And it's funny because she says, you know, they're watching it and they kind of look at each other after the first episode. They're like, you want to watch more? And they're like, yeah. And now they are absolutely hooked. So she's having viewing parties at her house throughout the season. We are going to do a viewing party at a pool hall / bar on Sunday. Pretty big group of us is going. And then she will have the viewing parties at her house. But I'm going to be at my house only because my son has school the next day. I have work, and the episodes are longer this time around. And I can't do that every Sunday. But the last week I will be doing it. I'm probably going to take the day off the next day, or just suffer and go to work. But we'll see. I don't know what we're going to do, but the last 2 episodes I know are 80 minutes, and it starts at 9, so that's a pretty late night, but we'll see what happens. I'm not sure yet, but I do definitely want to do the last episode at her house. I also was able to find the Game of Thrones Oreos. Yes, there are cookies. And got a bunch of packages. I got one for myself, actually 2 for myself. I don't really eat them, but it's just the collectability of them for me. I got one for a friend, and she doesn't know that I'm going to send it to her though. And then I got one to bring to my sister's house for the final episodes. Okay, so these 2 we're going to start with. The Mother of Dragons is going on the front. I'll put the Dragon Glass behind her, and then this print with the Queen part of it behind that. So basically all I'm doing is grabbing maybe I should zoom you out a little more so you could see everything. So I'm just gonna put these in. That's basically it. And if you're, you know, I'm gonna, excuse me if I'm sounding like I'm talking down to you. I'm just going to explain some things a little more in depth, just in case this is the first time somebody's watching my video, you know what I mean, or video here. So I'm just putting that in there. And what I do is I always cut it to size before I start my videos. And because I have dashboards and papers and stuff that I save from old setups, I just use that as a guide to help me measure it out. Okay, I did that right. Okay, so you got the dragon glass, the queen, then you've got the mother of dragons, and then the other dragon print, both again from Kurtis Rykovich. So that's the first dashboard done. I'm going to grab another clear dashboard here. I'm just going to leave it to the side because sometimes the light messes with it, and then we're going to bring in the second stuff. And this is pretty easy because I already have the paper behind these again. Now these two are unicorns. I think this one is called Unicorn Keeper. I don't remember what this is called, but it's still a very whimsical type of print, and unicorns are very fantasy based and that sort of thing. So I wanted to add these in there. And then on the other side, I have a paper. This came from a paper pack from Halloween that I got at Michael's, and as you can see, these are probably crows, and the word crow is used many, many times throughout Game of Thrones. Crows is what they call those that are at Castle Black. They use ravens. I know that, I believe they're different birds. I don't think they're the same bird, and excuse me because I don't know that. But they use ravens to carry their notes and secrets and notices and, you know, correspondence to each other. So I thought that this would be very appropriate. As soon as I saw it, I was like, yes, it's so appropriate. So these are simply going in just the way I had it with the other dashboard. So I'm just going to, and one thing too that I do, and a good trick that I learned from the Planner Sophisticate, who is Jesenia. She's the one, JeseniaPrintables, that I have the inserts from. Sometimes when you cut it, this is going to come out a little farther. You don't necessarily want that because when you put the insert in, it's going to keep going, you know, like keep catching. So there is going to be a little space here, but it is so much more convenient than having it constantly like catch on the insert. So that's a tip and trick that I learned from her, and I'm passing along to you. So again, you could see some of the clear dashboard, but that doesn't bother me. So there's the front, the back, and the inside, which I really love. So that's going to be our second insert, which the weekly is going to go into. So I'm going to grab another clear dashboard that of course I'm going to leave on the side, as I said. And I have lots of different options here with paper. I went the other day to find some more paper, and I found some paper that I wouldn't necessarily, this is for, I think, yeah, for the back of it. So I'm just going to put this to the side. Paper that I wouldn't necessarily get, but for this, it was absolutely perfection. So I found this gold kind of alligator type of paper. It actually has a nice texture to it, but the reason why I got it is because to me, it's small, but it looks like dragon scales. So she has 3 dragons. I'm not going to give too much away. Actually, you know what? I'll just put a disclaimer. There's going to be spoilers in this. I want to talk freely. So she has 2 dragons left. One did die, and basically was killed by the Night King, but brought back to life as an ice/blue fire dragon, however you want to say it. So basically, he's a white dragon, which is WIGHT. That's what they call like the undead or dead. Basically, they're whites. And they're very white and frosty blue and just weird looking. So the other paper I found at Michael's, although I know it's like mermaid scales or fish scales, to me still could be used as dragon scales, and the fact that it was blue and frosty was what attracted me to the paper, because this is basically for Viserion, and these 2 are for Drogon and Rhaegal, who still survive on the right side of the fight with their mother. So what I want to do, I'm trying to think if I should do, no, I think I want to do them. So what I want to do is I want to put the gold, I think, on the outside, because it looks a little more like dragon scales as opposed to this that looks like fish scales. And people be like, why do you have fish fish stuff in your Game of Thrones thing? So let me make sure if that's what I want to do. Yeah, I think so. We'll keep the dragon stuff together. So I'm just going to put this in here. And some of these dashboards, as we continue to go along, are more intricate than others. But again, they are going to, for me, correlate beautifully with the show. So the front, which is the gold, and then that's the inside, which is the blue scales, and then the outside, the back, which is the gold scales again. So that is my third dashboard done. All right, moving on to the fourth. So again, I have a lot of options here, but let's see. Okay, so I have this, I have this, and of course you have skulls, because for the love of God, everybody freaking dies in the show, and I am not looking forward to seeing who is dying this season. Like I said, this is the last season, so it's one of those things where if you're a true Game of Thrones fan, you know that you have already resigned yourself to the fact that you're probably going to lose your favorite character. If you get too close to somebody or a couple, they're just going to perish in the most horrible way. This is what this show is all about. Okay, so I have the skulls, like I said, so I have two of those, obviously. And then these two, I wanted to use these pockets, but I didn't want to put it on the actual dashboard because I didn't want to ruin the dashboard and then have this on there, only use it from time to time. So I did put it on a piece of paper. It probably won't lift up again, which is fine. But what I'll do is I will try to save the integrity of this paper as long as I possibly can so that I could reuse it. But again, this is from Simply Gilded. And so this came with this in one of the monthly sub boxes. So that is the pocket there, so I can put stickers or, you know, whatever, a little washi card. And then I didn't realize there were two. I thought it was back, front and back, and the other one says Queen, which again, very, very appropriate. Now these decorations I have in a packet, which I don't have, I put it away, from Away with the Fairies. They're on Etsy. I got these a very, very long time ago, at least over a year ago. So if they are still available or the shop is still open, even if these are not available, I will absolutely link it down below because it's just a very whimsical type of shop, which I really, really love. And as simple as it is, when I put these down, I was like, that's it. That's all I need, nothing else. So I think what I want to do is have these on the inside. Should I do? Yeah, that I think is going to be good. So for the outside, oh, I lost a jewel there. I'm going to be using these. So this is just, as you can see, it's got a sheen there, just like a cream colored sheen paper that I got from Michaels. And what I did was I used stamps that I got from Michaels. So this is just a stamp set. As you can see, they are snowflakes. And then with that, I purchased this Craft Smart ink pad. These are very inexpensive, and because I don't use stamps a lot, I didn't want to spend $7 or $8 on a stamp pad. This was, I think, $3, and everything that day, like stamps and stuff, was 40% off. So I used the silver to do the snowflakes. Again, the big slogan for this year is "Winter is here," because they've been talking about it for the last 7 seasons, and the winter is going to be extremely harsh. So that's what you have there. And then this tree, also a stamp from Michaels, as you could see there, and the same brand of stamp pad, just in brown. They had so many different colors: gold, black, green, red. I mean, a lot of different colors, pink. And the reason why I chose this stamp, as soon as I saw it, I loved it, is because there is a big tree on the grounds of Winterfell, and Ned Stark used to like to sit under there to think, and that tree features heavily throughout the seasons of the show, and featured pretty heavily last season as well, with the Stark kids coming together. They were talking under that tree a lot, and you saw this tree in the shot. So I thought that that was just a really nice tie into the show, so I used that down here. And then for the sparkles, I got this, you know, this stuff you can get at Michael's or Joann's, and they have them in all different kinds of colors. They're self-adhesive, or self-sticking, you know, they can cause a little bit of trouble. I just lost one earlier. So you just have to be careful, but overall, I mean, it's not horrendous. So I wanted to add that as just a little pop of that iciness to this paper, and so that's why I use that. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this on the outside of each dashboard. These I'm going to be very, very careful with because I want to make sure, let me see something. I think I want to use the queen one on the outside so you could see it on the front, or on the back, I should say. So I got to be really careful with this because I don't want to lose these little gems. And let me see if I can't. So what I want to do is kind of put this in there, but then lift up the plastic and kind of use my hands. Oh, well, I had to be careful with this in the back too. So kind of use my hands. See, I lost a sticky there. Let me see if I can't get my tweezers. Did I leave them out? I did not. Okay. All right, I'm gonna see if I can't stick this back on, and if I can't for some reason, I've got more. But again, if they lose their stick, let me see. Yeah, it lost its stick. So you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna use this because this is probably not something that I necessarily have to keep. I just want to make sure I get the sticky part right. And I think I did because it kind of got stuck there. Let's see if this works. Yeah, I think that, did it work? Let me see, I'll put a little bit down on the paper and see if it works. I don't want to put down too much, but the good thing is that it is clear. So you will, but it's not sticking down. It's like it wants to stick down a lot, like a long line. But the good thing is that it is clear, so you can't really see it. All right, so there we are. I just want, oh, I lost two of them, darn it. I didn't even notice that I lost the other one. Where the hell did it go? If I can't find it, I'll get another one. I must have lost it and not noticed. All right, so I'm gonna grab one of these. I always keep these, whether it's for makeup looks or crafts, because sometimes I'll use a small one, like on the inner corner of my eye, not on the eyeball, just on the outside of the eye. All right, so let's do this again. We're gonna try to keep this together. I knew this was gonna be, is this not dry? It's getting in my thing, huh? I'm gonna have to wash that later. Huh, maybe it's because of its type of paper, because I see my, I see my, my fingerprints with the brown there. All right, well, it is what it is. I'm not gonna change it now. Darn it, I'm trying to think now, because I do have this, but that's so... No, we're gonna use this. All right, so let's think about this again. Because I gotta make sure that the back of this goes in without killing this thing. And then this is a lot more difficult than I thought it was gonna be. You know, like I'm trying to do something. Yeah, this brown. Maybe I just may just clean it out later. So the paper's cut right. I'm moving really, really slowly just to make sure that. So see, even though it's in here, if I wanted to store something, stickers, they'd be even more protected and not on the outside. So I'll clean this up a little later. Kind of sucks that the stamp, I lost another one. It kind of sucks that the stamp is not, didn't dry, but it might be the type of paper again, because this is, it is like iridescent almost, so maybe just that being the case with that is the issue. All right, so we're gonna do the same thing over here, and let's see, I want to do it so that I can see the bottom, but let me do this first. Okay, so we're just gonna do that. I'm gonna make sure this is in first, and then I'm gonna turn this around so I can pay attention to these jewels. Okay, that was a lot easier. All right, so that was an ordeal, right? So that's it. I mean, as simple as it is, winter's coming, winter's here actually, and then the tree from Winterfell. And This is getting stuck here, so I'll have to clean that a little later. And then just really simply in here are the 2 pockets and that little bit of decoration from Away with the Fairies. So there is the 4th dashboard done. And I think I'm gonna have just one more, right? Yeah, just one more. So we're probably just gonna do 5 in this one. All right, I'm gonna put these things to the side. Sorry with all this brown everywhere. So we are gonna use the skull paper, which of course I think is very appropriate for this season because we're gonna lose a lot of people and there's gonna be battles and lots of stuff. So, all right, so we're gonna put this to the side. This I created off camera only because, and I may actually have to just tidy this up a bit because I don't want this like corner to show. And so these gears I purchased at Michael's, and these are basically things that you could use for jewelry, like steampunk. And this is the same paper that I had used earlier, that I just used actually with the snowflakes and the tree. So I just decided to make a quick design, and the reason why I used the gears, as soon as I saw them, I'm like, perfect. If you've ever seen the beginning, the opening sequence with the song from Game of Thrones, you know that the way it looks, it's very steampunk, lots of gears and, you know, turning things, and just basically brings Westeros to life in this kind of, how should I say it, like decoration type of thing. So as soon as I saw it, I knew I needed it. This Game of Thrones little piece of paper here came from a drink menu that I had gotten from a bar that I did trivia in, Game of Thrones trivia, and our team actually won. So I just wanted to put that there. Like I said, it's very simple, but it's not, and I think it's just absolute perfection. This I'm gonna have to really watch because I think these gears are going to move around. So we'll do definitely this in the front. Again, it's simple, but it's, to me, just perfection. And then the last dashboard that I'm doing, I'm going to put this together right on the screen. This is from that set from Away with the Fairies. And then these 2 pieces of paper came from that same drink menu from the trivia. So I have the Targaryen sigil, or sigil, I'm not sure how you say it, and then the Stark sigil. I am Team Stark all the damn way. I've come to realize personally myself, and this is just a theory that I have just in seeing the way the show has unfolded overall with the families and the houses, and you know, who's getting married to who and who's still alive and who's grown, and you know, what family has had the most happen to it. I really do believe that this was never anyone's story except the Starks. I mean, you know, obviously there's other stories, but I think ultimately it's their story. And I've come to that realization that they're going to play, I mean, they've always played a big part on the show, but I think they're going to play an even bigger part, and in which way, I'm not sure. There are all sorts of theories about the last youngest living son, Bran being the actual Night King, somehow, because he's the three-eyed raven. Now, he knows everything that has been, you know, in the past. I'm not 100% sure if he can tell the future, but he knows he can see everything. He can put himself anywhere, and he can what's called warg into things, so he can become a wolf or a horse or something like that, and not become it, but get inside it and actually make it do things that he wants it to. He's warged into humans before, so he's got this power that's just, you know, really unsurpassed on that show. So we'll see what he does, but he was able to see what I feel is the single most amazing 45 seconds in all of the show, from me anyway, was Rhaegar Targaryen and Lyanna Stark's wedding. The opening of the show starts with basically a little while after the reason why the show even is there. Robert Baratheon, who is king when the show starts, wanted to marry Lyanna, who was Ned's sister, and Lyanna didn't love him. and I think that she was betrothed to him or something like that. You know, he was pushing that union. And she ended up falling in love with Rhaegar Targaryen. There were lies spread that he had kidnapped her and raped her, and that's how the war started, called Robert's Rebellion, and that's how he got, how we kind of go into everything. And a lot of what happens during this show talks about things that brought about Robert's Rebellion and the lies certain people told and why this happened and why that happened. But you know, in that sense, Bran was able to see with his sight that she in fact was not kidnapped and raped. She was in love with Rhaegar. They legally married, and that in turn brought us Jon Snow. Jon Snow, who is looked upon as Ned's bastard son, born in the South, is actually the son of Lyanna Stark and Rhaegar Targaryen, making him the heir to the Iron Throne, as it were. And you know, if you haven't watched the show, you're gonna know nothing of what I'm talking about. But if you've watched this show, then you kind of are, you know, already familiar with this. But what he sees is their union in the woods near a pond or a lake or a river or something. And it literally lasted probably 45 seconds. And to me, it was the most amazing 45 seconds in all of that show. And because you just saw the realness, and that in turn proved that Jon is a legitimate child. So this dashboard here, when I saw this card, she is a princess with the strength of a warrior. She wasn't queen yet, although Rhaegar was next in line after his father to become king because he was the oldest son. He is Daenerys's older brother, Jon's father, Viserion's uncle, Lyanna's husband. And so it kind of all ties in. So we've got the Targaryen sigil and also the Stark. And this is Lyanna, even though her hair is darker, but she wasn't a queen yet. She was a princess at that point. But, you know, she died in childbirth after she gave birth to Jon, and she was very strong and, you know, just a warrior. I mean, she went against what everybody thought she should be doing for her heart. And, you know, it just, I don't know. It's a storyline that I really, really like. So Jon should be finding out this season, what episode, I'm not sure, that he is truly not a bastard, not Ned Stark's son, but rather his nephew. And he is Lyanna Stark's son and also a Targaryen. Sorry, that was my phone. So I just had my sister called and we actually started talking about Game of Thrones. So there you have it. So yeah, so this dashboard basically is dedicated to Lyanna Stark because of all of these elements that I told you about. You know, she basically gave birth to Jon Snow, whose real name is Aegon Targaryen, who is both a Targaryen and Stark. And she kind of looked like this with the dress when they were getting married in the clearing, and that's what Bran saw. So that is that. So let's go ahead and get this. So this will be... Yeah, we're going to face this out to the back and this to the front. So I'm going to have to be extremely, extremely careful, even more so than I was with the other one. I do have this stuck down. And once it's in the actual dashboard, it's not going to be an issue. So let me see. I'm trying to see how I can do this. This way, probably. Yeah. Right? Yes, like this. It's, you know, just the little things are so difficult, but again, as soon as I saw these, I was like, I have to have them. They're so awesome, like the, you know, the start of the show. So yeah, see, the dashboard will hold it in, so that's good, right? Yes, yes. And simple, but again, still not simple, you know, perfect. So I'm going to put this in here. And there is the last dashboard. So what I am going to do now is get the inserts and the actual traveler's notebook. And I'm just going to start popping these into the dashboards. And a lot of times they'll stick out. That's fine. It's not a big deal. I also have clips and little decorations and other things that I'm going to be putting in here. So pretty excited to get this all together. It's a little hard because there's not a lot with like dragons and stuff, but I think this came together very nicely. So I'll have to get maybe the daily one and use that, but that Game of Thrones one, that last one, is definitely going in there. So what I want to do is pop these into the strings here. And basically what I do is I kind of just open it and let it kind of fall into the middle. And then all I'm doing is getting them in the strings. And let's see, kind of have that fall in the middle where there's not like an overlapping page like this. And then I did talk about this in my last Plan With Me video at the end, that for the next 6 weeks starting next week, so it's going to be a little later, but it goes along with the series that I'm doing for the next 6 weeks, Game of Thrones based. I'm going to be doing one video each week for my planner stuff and also for my makeup stuff. If you guys have watched other videos here, you know that I also do makeup tutorials, or have in the past. And excuse me, I have a lot of Game of Thrones inspired makeup, and I'll just have to print out the inserts. I can do that tomorrow because I usually do those at work. But this is really nice and chunky. This is the way I like it, so it could be nice and thick. This is such a beautiful planner. Like, it's just perfect once everything is put together. Just really, really nice. So that's kind of how it sits there. And because, again, the leather is unfinished, I always like to have something in the front and then also in the back. So I am going to use, let's see, do I want that in the front? Yeah, let's put that in the front. So I had cut this out for the back, and I actually forgot that I needed one for the front too. So I will, yeah, and I had to cut it a little bit, but again, I don't want it hitting everything. And then for the pocket here, I always try to decorate this part even though it is finished. And what I had in here before is perfect for this time around. I used this for the Christmas setup, but because winter is here, this is just absolute perfection. And then I just have this piece of acetate that I had cut out. It's double-sided, so you have gold foiled polka dots, and then on this side silver. So I want to use the silver because of the snow and iciness of everything. So all I'm doing is sticking this in the card pocket, and then I just, as you can see, cut it to fit this around. And I will cover this because this is not, doesn't go all the way, but I want it to go all the way here. So what I usually do is stick in a sticker sheet, and this is the one I've been carrying around, and because it's hollow, I really do want to add it because, again, of that iciness. This is from my newest addiction. So I just stick that in there, and that will cover up. Actually, let me put it a little more this way, but it'll still cover up that part there. I don't mind that that pops up there. I've also made a washi card. I'm not sure if I'm going to put it in yet or not. And I did this not only to have the washi. I don't normally use washi on the run, but I wanted to use one also for decoration, which I think is really nice. But I do have a couple of more elements that I wanted to put in for this specific setup. So these stickers called Snow Day, it's an icon sheet from Piper Paper Company, I thought was a good thing to have in here, because even if I'm not planning on the go, let's say, you know, doing a full spread, if, you know, I'm out and somebody says, oh, let's make plans for dinner or whatever, you know, I can put down the knife and or the fork and spoon on a date and write it in quickly. So this is also really good to decorate. Then another beautiful element that I'm adding is my keepsake ticket from the Game of Thrones concert that was here in September. Very beautiful. It is done by Ramin Djawadi, who is the composer of all of the music for the Game of Thrones show. So he does an actual orchestra show. Everything is beautiful. And it's a 3D. I don't know if you could see down here. It's like the orchestra there and then the Night King there, but it's just such a just beautiful. And I love the fact that they didn't rip anything. So this is a gorgeous keepsake. So let me see something here. yeah, that's okay to have like that. And I don't know that I want to put the, card in here, the washi card too. Well, maybe I can. Again, this is a lot for decoration, but I love it. It doesn't bother me to have that. So I think I'll just place that over that side. So you kind of have layering of different textures and colors and things like that. So, and again, with the paper that I'm calling dragon scales. Then I forgot that I had this little sticky pad from Simply Gilded. It's the royalty one from the monthly box. As you saw, I had the, where are we here? Where are we here? Is it all the way back? Here it is, with the pockets. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put, actually just a few pages. I don't wanna put a whole one and then really have this like raised up so much. So just a few pages in case I need to, you know, somebody needs a little paper or sticky note or something like that. And actually this is not a sticky, which is fine. So no big deal. And so what I'm going to do, I'm trying not to pull this back out, but I may need to pull it back out. Let's see if we can't finagle this a bit. What we try to do, right? Finagle this so I don't have to take it out, but we may have to, which is fine. What do I have there? Oh no, that's the one with the, let me see if I can just take this one out, because sometimes you can. And you can't, but that's okay. Because I could probably get a better, at least a better, yeah, see. And it may cover up the top. Oh, not too much. But still, it serves a purpose, and it's still really pretty. It adds another layer of decoration, and you know, with the polka dots and stuff, which matches the pocket. So I'm absolutely okay with that. And then what I'm going to do with this back pocket is put these little stickers in, so that I don't have too much in the front, but I can still have something in this pocket, so the pocket doesn't feel left out. I'm just trying not to take this out if I don't have to because of the front of it. So there, again, it covers up a little bit of this, but still, it's a functional thing, and you know, the pocket's not on the outside. I like it very much. So I will put an extra insert in here. I'm gonna put, I don't know if I have any more of this paper, but you know, I think I do have the, oh, I don't want that far out. I think I do have the blue dragon paper, so let me just cut a piece of that and I'm going to put it back here. All right, so I found it. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to match up the paper from the front with that paper that I want to use in the back. And I'm just going to use my scissors with this, because this doesn't necessarily have to be perfect because most of it hides anyway. But again, it's just a really nice way to add another element to bring everything together, and I think that this paper does that perfectly, especially with the dragons playing such a huge part at the end of last season. The Syrian, who is now a white ice dragon, if you will, used his ice and or blue fire, however you see it, to bring down the wall. No one has ever brought down the wall. It's been standing for eons, and he managed to do that in about a minute. So now the Night King and his army, that is what was keeping them out. So now the Night King and his army are like, haha, free for all, bitches. So that's the way it's going to work. But hey, you know, that's, I'm wondering if I should put this on the front. Yeah, I like that better. And then we'll put this one in the back. And I'm not going to put anything else in the back, because I just want that to just be a little added decoration. Then you cover up the unfinished leather. All right, so let's do clips. So the clips I have are very nice. So this first clip I have, Lord, I hope I'm remembering this correctly. I think this is from KandCoXOXO. I usually, and I'm sure it is, I usually get the big clips from her just without anything, but I love this black resin one, and I thought this would be beautiful because of the color black, and also because the rose is for House Tyrell. So that I thought was a nice kind of tie-in. Then these three I got as gifts from oh God, I want to make sure that I remember correctly the shop, because if not, I'm going to feel like shit for not remembering. These were free gifts too during the holidays. I want to say it was Hootie Lally Day, and the owner's name is Sean. And as you can see, hopefully you can see them, they are snowflakes. And again, very, very appropriate with the theme of the show, especially with the winter is coming. So I wanted to use those. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to use the black one last because it's the biggest one. And then I'm going to use these. So I'm just going to place these down now. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do a flip through so that if you know you don't have time right now, or you're not really into the setup but like the flip throughs, I will have that down, you know, at the end there, and then you can get into doing that instead of the whole thing. And I will have timestamps at the beginning, I'm telling you now, but I won't have told you earlier, but they'll be there so that you can, you know, if you want to jump to a certain section, or you really want to see a certain section now, or just that section, then you can absolutely do that. These are glossy, so they're a little funky there. I don't want to ruin anything, so we're going to do that. And then the next one, just this one, I did on the second page. And I just like to stagger them, of course, so that they are not basically sitting on top of each other. These are a little harder to use. I don't usually use these, but there they are. All right, and then the last one for now, I do have other clips, so I'll bring something else in for that last insert. And then once I do that, this will probably go at the end, but for now, that's where that's gonna go. And then I always turn the planner up so I can see where my clips are, and then if I need to move something a little bit, but I think that these are spaced out nicely, and those snowflakes look so, so beautiful. I love it. And for the outside, I try to use swag as much as I can. I'm going to be using this one from Fir Yew. Lisa owns this shop. She does all of this by hand. It is absolutely gorgeous. It's made of felt. Then you've got some gold leaf accents both on the top and the bottom, and a beautiful pearl in the middle. It would have been nice for it to have silver just because of the iciness, but I think the purple and the black really, really set off the kind of the final part of this setup. So there is my Game of Thrones inspired TN. I think it looks great. I love the way everything came together. So let's go ahead and do a flip through. So this is the flip through portion of this video. So we're basically going to start kind of from Z to A. So we're just going to deconstruct it in a way going backwards. So the first thing I have on the top and the front of my TN is this beautiful swag from Fir Yew. Beautiful colors. I think it sets off the whole theme beautifully. You've got gold leaves up top and at the bottom, a beautiful pearl in the middle. So this just comes off with little Velcro there, and basically just goes over the string. So you can take these off whenever you want because it's pretty easy to do that. So we're going to put this to the side, and then as I said earlier, this is my FoxyFix B6, which is a number 5, and this is in Sugar Mochi. So what I am going to do is I'm going to zoom you out just a pinch more so you can see most of it. So opening this up in the secretarial pocket to the left, I just have this piece of paper that I picked up the other day from Michael's, and I know it looks like mermaid scales, but I really was looking at it as dragon scales. And because of the blue coloring and the iciness of the silver foil, I thought it was perfect to pay homage to Viserion, who is now the Night King's dragon and basically shoots ice, fire, whatever. In the card pocket on the left here, starting in, well, actually, let's start from front to back. So I have a little washi card here. The washi card is from Simply Gilded, and then I have Simply Gilded washi and also some from the Pink Room Co. So that's in the front there. I also have my keepsake ticket from the Game of Thrones concert that I attended in September, which I absolutely love because it is a 3D picture there on the front. Then I always keep this on the left hand side. As you can see, it's never been used, but I like it for decoration, and because this is hollow and very icy, I wanted to leave it in here. And I love the background with the like the floral background. This is from my newest addiction. And then here I have basically a piece of paper that has snowflakes on it. Some of it is silver foiled, very icy blue, and then a piece of acetate that has foiled polka dots in silver, and I'm just putting that in there basically as an added decoration, and this ties in very beautifully with the Game of Thrones theme. So I just basically layer everything there. This will go straight, and then what I'm going to do with the washi card is just basically put it to the side a little bit there. The first dashboard we have starts with this gorgeous print by Kurtis Rykovich. This is the Mother of Dragons, beautifully done, and I'm hoping that he does more Game of Thrones characters because this is so gorgeous. I would love to see Sansa, Jon, I would love to see Cersei, even though I hate her, Tyrion, and maybe the dragons themselves on a print. So opening up the first dashboard here, I just have a piece of purple iridescent paper that I got at Michael's, and then a journaling card from Simply Gilded. It says Dare to be Dazzling. As soon as I saw it, it has like hollow foil lines. It automatically reminded me of dragon glass. I just thought of glass, and dragon glass is the thing that can kill the White Walkers in the show, so that's why that's there. And then this clip here was a gift from Hootie Lally Day over the holidays with an order I placed. So that is the first insert. Then on the inside of the back of the dashboard, I have another piece of that iridescent purple paper, and then a gorgeous journaling card also from Simply Gilded from one of their subscription boxes. And I just thought that this was very, very, you know, what the show really is all about and who is the real queen in Westeros. So I thought that this was a nice touch. And then in the back of that is another print from Kurtis Rykovich. This one, again, is dragon based, so I absolutely wanted to have it in there. The next dashboard starts with another print by Kurtis Rykovich. And even though this is not from Game of Thrones or a dragon, it's very whimsical and very fantastical in the way it's painted, and then all of the colors. And because unicorns to me are a fantasy animal, I thought it would be really nice to have it in this setup. And then opening up, it's just a piece of paper from one of the, like a paper pack, one of the paper books from a Halloween paper book. So these are ravens or crows or whatever. And again, they use the word crow to talk about people who are who take the black, who are at Castle Black, who are on the wall. And then they also use ravens to carry notes and things like that. I have my weekly insert, which comes from JeseniaPrintables on Etsy. And so that is what the second insert is going to be. The inside of the back also has that same crow paper there. And then the back of that insert has another print from Kurtis Rykovich, which is absolutely gorgeous, and another unicorn one. And the colors are just really soft and pastel, so I thought they were great. Also, just to make quick mention, all of my plastic dashboards are from FoxyFix. The third dashboard I have starts with a piece of paper that I purchased at Michael's just the other day. This looks like alligator skin almost, but for me, I thought dragon scales, just small ones, and the gold color was really nice. So it is a very iridescent piece of paper and also has a nice texture to it. The inside is another piece of paper that I had gotten at Michael's and thought it was perfect for Viserion, who is now an ice dragon. Again, I know they look like mermaid or fish scales, but for me, I'm like, they could absolutely be dragon scales. And it is a light blue with some, almost like some discoloration, so it's lighter in some points. And then the scales are, I'm looking at it now and I thought they were silver, but they could pass for hollow foil on that. The next insert I have is finances, which is basically a check register, and I purchased that from the 1407 planners. If you are a person who does not like to use printables, I haven't bought from other places, but for me, I am extremely satisfied with the 1407 planners, so I don't plan on buying from anyone else unless they have some amazing layout that like just, you know, calls to me. But they have everything: weekly, monthlies, different formats, different layouts, and I mean, they even have an insert that you can swatch your washi with, which I do want to get. The outside of it, though, because it doesn't, it had just like a a blank thing. Like the outside of this is from JeseniaPrintables. She also sells like a pack of basically covers, and I love, love, love her handwriting, so I got that there. Let me see if I have it, and I do have it for the monthly as well. So the monthly, the outside of it, like the title page, as you can see, this is the booklet. It's from the 1407 planners, but then this is JeseniaPrintables. So moving on, I have again the blue scale paper and then the gold scale paper on the outside. The third, let me make sure, is this the third? This is the fourth. This is the fourth dashboard. What I did was, this stamp thing is really driving me nuts because that really didn't dry that well. But basically this is just a piece of like cream iridescent paper, and it's got a little sheen to it. You're not going to be able to see it because the lights are probably washing it out. But all I did was I used a trio of snowflake stamps with silver stamp pad and did the snowflakes. Then I used this, which you can get at Michael's or Joann's, just these little gems as kind of you know, just that pop of iciness throughout. And then this one was this stamp here, which I wanted to use as the nice big tree on the property of Winterfell that Ned always likes to sit under, and the kids are now sitting under on their own. And that, again, I just used this ink pad. So again, I will link everything down below, but like the stamps, the ink pads I got from Michael's, as well as a lot of this type of paper. This paper too, actually, and paper packs usually come from Michael's because they always have a really good sale. So the paper on the back is the same paper, but I just did a little something different with it. This queen thing right here is a pocket, and I got this pocket from a sub box from Simply Gilded. This notepad paper, I just took a couple of sheets from this notepad that came in that same sub box. As you can see, it says Royalty. This one says Queen. And then this beautiful bit here comes from the shop Away with the Fairies on Etsy. The next insert is going to be notes, and this, I mean, it's Christmas there, but I just thought that the snowflakes were perfect. So this is also from JeseniaPrintables, so I did print these out to put in this, or I had it already, so I said, you know what, I'm not going to, oh, you know what I did? I see what I did. So I just combined, because I think I used a bunch of the note paper from the Christmas one, so I combined some of the fall one, but this is note paper. It doesn't matter. The outside is really what matters to me with the snowflakes because winter is here. So the inside of the back of the dashboard is another piece of that iridescent cream paper. Then I have another pocket that came in the Simply Gilded sub box, an icon sheet called Snow Day from Piper Paper Company. Again, these are just little things that if I'm out and somebody says let's have dinner, or you know, let's go have a cup of coffee, I've got little icons that I can just stick on my on the weekly, which is really nice, I think. And then this piece right here, again from that kit, or from that set from Away with the Fairies. And then the back is going to be the very same thing that was in the front, the snowflakes and the tree. The last dashboard, which doesn't have anything in it just yet, is another piece of that iridescent paper. This Game of Thrones piece here of paper came from a drink menu from a bar that I attended a Game of Thrones trivia at. That's a long sentence. And then these gears came from a little pack that I purchased at Michael's the other day when I purchased the paper. And if you saw the beginning, or if you know the beginning sequence of Game of Thrones, you know, while the song is going on, everything looks like gears and very steampunk. So I thought this is just a perfect tie-in to the show. The inside of both sides, the front and the back of the dashboard, are this gorgeous skull paper. This came from that Halloween paper pack I talked about earlier. Beautiful silver foil in the skulls, and very telling for the season. A lot of people are going to die, and you know, I'm sure a lot of favorites are going to die, so I just definitely had to put this paper in this setup. The back of the last dashboard is going to be that same iridescent cream paper. I'm trying to hold it so that the light doesn't get like, you know, it's like completely washing this out. So these pieces here are coming from that little set, again, from Away with the Fairies. This dashboard, or this piece of paper here for me, is a paying homage to Lyanna Stark. She looked gorgeous when she married Rhaegar Targaryen in the woods, and so that's where kind of that comes from. She is a Targaryen by marriage and also gave birth to Aegon Targaryen, aka Jon Snow, who is both a Targaryen and a Stark. And then she is a princess with the strength of a warrior. She was not a queen at the time that she passed after giving birth to Jon. She was a princess because Rhaegar was still a prince. So for me, this just came together beautifully in paying tribute to Lyanna Stark. She was Game of Thrones Helen of Troy, if you will. Her face launched 1,000 ships and started a war because Robert thought that Rhaegar had kidnapped her and raped her, and that's why he started Robert's Rebellion. And then the end of it is just very simple. I just have a piece of that gold dragon scale paper in the back just to cover up the unfinished leather. And that is basically it. So that is going to be the Game of Thrones setup that I'm going to be using for the next 6 weeks. Then what I'm going to do is a spring setup, and I do want to do a setup video. I really do love watching these, and I hope that you do too. I just think it helps me to stay inspired to see how other people put things together, see what other ideas, there's something that somebody may do and you're just like, God, I never thought about that, but that's such a great idea. So that's why I do love watching these videos. So that is going to do it for this. I hope that you enjoyed this video. 4 more days, #ForTheThrone. I just cannot wait. I really can't. I am such a mega fan of this show. As usual, if you have not subscribed to the channel, please do so, and also click that little bell so you get alerted as to whenever I upload new content. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.